It's just me today, guys. So you're gonna have to grin and bear it. So I want to get started in Pop Tart World and just send my condolences to the friends and families and loved ones of DMX. He died at 50 years old from a heart attack, and so I want to send my condolences and love to them. He was such a pivotal person in 90s hip hop, and it Rough Riders, if you don't know about it, do your research, do your Googles. It's nice outside today, and all I've been hearing is nothing but DMX songs. So it just makes me happy to see everybody be communal and come together and share his music. I think one of his songs actually, I think the Rough Riders anthem or something went number one a couple of days ago on Billboard. So I just want to send my love and prayers to everyone. But my rant for today is for these fucking feminists, for these ridiculous people who are crucifying him for his lyrics for old rap songs. And I don't appreciate it because this man is dead. And it's beyond disrespectful to talk about somebody who is not here to defend themselves. And on top of that, who the fuck are you to judge someone else in the midst of what they were going through? You don't even know what their experiences were. You don't know what they're thinking, they were feeling. We knew DMX was struggling with a lot of demons, and he was very transparent and open and vulnerable, even in the midst of his so-called thugness or ruggedness. And the fact that these women are going out of their way to demonize this man and people are grieving and mourning over them, like, fuck you. Like, disrespectfully, fuck you. Because God forbid somebody says horrible things about you when you die and talk shit about you when you were a young person going through the struggles of your own life, trying to figure out your own way, and nobody gave you grace for your own ignorance. So I am beyond disgusted with anyone who has anything to say, because you ain't had that same energy when this man was alive. He was alive. And where was the energy? But he's dead. And now you have all these bad things to say. Now you want to pick apart his art and pick apart all the things that he has done. And we're just not going to do that. And what you should do is demonize that fucking white man who was the prince. Won't you demonize that motherfucker? Like, because I know he ain't do shit right. And we're not going to talk about Queen Elizabeth and that whole thing. Like, we're just not. But I don't see the same energy being reciprocated for him. But I see a whole bunch of negative energy being sent DMX's way. And I don't find it coincidental that he's black, because he's a black man. So once again, rest in peace to DMX, and fuck those who are going out of their way to disrespect this man's name and try to assassinate his character through his music that was almost 30 fucking years ago. I digress. So Tyler Perry actually is going to be developing a new show called Mabel. It's going to be on Showtime. It's going to be a prequel to Medea, so we get to see what it was like for her in the 70s when she was younger. It's going to take place in Atlanta, and it's actually going to be produced and written by two black women who are actually twin sisters. They have also wrote and produced for Empire, and they're also writing and producing for the new reboot on Gossip Girl that's going to be on HBO Max. And I used to watch Gossip Girl, so I hope they do a good job with that. So I'm really excited to kind of see like what Tyler Perry's going to do. I know so many people hate on Tyler Perry because it perpetuates this stereotype. Um, but keep the hate, because this man begged to be at a seat at the table and they didn't let him in, and he said, fuck y'all, I'm gonna create my own house. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. So I'm curious to see how it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really funny. And I'm always rooting for Tyler Perry, because when you talk about somebody who's been through some shit in life and has overcame, baby, like, let's not disrespect people who are creating and do exactly what they're supposed to do, showing up for their people and creating spaces for those where white people are not going to be able to do so. So yeah, so I don't know when it's coming out, but it is in the works. Should be coming out soon. I know they have already a couple of episodes already written, so stay tuned. It's going to be on Showtime. So, very interesting and exciting news. So, the Black descendants of Bruce's Beach, which is in California, they could actually be getting the land back. This is in Los Angeles County, and they're actually trying to return the beachfront to the descendants of the Black couple who originally created it. This was actually an African American resort But unfortunately, because of the KKK and so many racist white people to threaten to burn it down, like they pretty much got ran out of their establishment that they created themselves. They purchased this property in 1912, and this is with Willa and Charles Bruce. They built this, by themselves as a as a couple, and it was a lodge, a cafe, a dance hall, dressing tents, and they had bathing suits, so like bathhouses. That was a thing back then. Mind you, this is in 1912, and so unfortunately, because they were ran out of their property illegally, the state took over, and so they're actually in the works right now. Whoever is descendants of this family will have ownership over this establishment. So that makes me so happy, because y'all don't understand about the oppression that comes with real estate when it comes to black people, and how so many things have been taken away from us outside of just the whole slavery thing. And when we are talking about reparations, these are the fucking examples that we're talking about. This is a prime example of what has happened to our ancestors, and it has not been done legally. And this is why we need our shit back. So I'm really, really excited to see how that moves forward, and I hope the bill gets passed, and I hope these descendants get what their ancestors fought so hard to build and create for black people in a positive space. So for our black magic for this week, this is actually for Baltimore. This makes me really, really happy. So Calvin Tyler Jr. and his wife Tina Tyler actually just donated $20 million to Morgan State University. And this is not their first time doing so. They actually donated $5 million before, I believe, in 2016. And Calvin also is not only just a philanthropist, but he's also alum to the school. He was actually a UPS driver and was able to work his way up. So he's actually just increasing his endowment. And because of the money that he's been able to give, he's been able to support 222 Morgan State students by giving 46 of them full tuition and 176 partial scholarships for those who are going to the school. So people who want to go to Morgan State, or if you're already there, you should look up the Tyler Scholarship. And when they're really trying to help, black college kids being able to go to school for free or not being able to graduate with so much debt. So we want to thank, Calvin and Tina for their philanthropy, because education is so important, but the debt that accrues with that is beyond ridiculous. So shout out to them. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Especially in Baltimore, we need it. And Morgan State is definitely a staple here in Baltimore, Maryland. So creating these opportunities for black and brown kids is absolutely important, especially when we talk about HBCUs. And in order for us to grow, we have to give. We have to lift and we have to give back. We have to lift and climb at the same time. We have to lift up others and climb at the same time. So thank you so much for being able to donate to Morgan State. So for our panel discussion for this week, this is really exciting. We're going to have the dream expert on. Her name is Lauri. Lauri, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Hi, Lauri. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
So before we get started to, what dreams mean, I really wanted to learn more about you. Like, how did you even get in the space of becoming a dream expert?
Well, I've always been interested in my dreams. I can remember them since I was 2 years old. I've been a vivid dreamer my whole life. When I was little, I would draw them. When I got older, I started writing them down. Essentially, I was keeping a dream journal. I didn't even realize
Wow.
what a powerful thing that was. But actually, it wasn't until I was 19 and my grandfather died, and he was the first person close to me to ever die. And we were close. And so it was very difficult. I was very depressed. About 2 weeks after his death, I had this dream where I was walking arm in arm with him through a museum, and I knew he had died. And so I asked him what it's like where he's at. And he said, I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is that it's secure. And he gave me a hug, and he started walking up the staircase. And then I woke up, and I could smell his Old Spice.
Wow.
I could feel him. It's like he was right there with me, and it was so vivid. I mean, it was like more than a dream. It
Right.
felt way more real. So that is the dream that propelled me to study dream psychology. I wanted to know what this is. Why do we do it?
Right.
What is the purpose and significance of it? And so I was really impressed with how practical yet powerful our dreams are when we pay attention to them and when we listen to what they are telling us.
Did your parents think you were crazy? Like, did you tell them about the dream and they're like, you lost your mind?
No, no, they didn't. I was always telling them my dreams when I was little, and they're like, half listening. So I don't even know if they totally listened to that dream. But when I started pursuing this as a career, they were very supportive.
That's awesome. I think it's very different because I didn't know, this is actually was a thing. So like you just kind of like Googled it. Like how did you even find out what dream psychology was?
Well, I started studying it before there was Google, so I've been doing it for a really long time. But I sought out someone who, because back then, this is early 90s, back then,
Right.
Universities, the psych courses didn't even cover dreaming or barely scratched the surface of it.
Mm.
So I was lucky enough to find this PhD who offered what would be equivalent to extension courses. So it was a collegiate course. I studied under her, and
Mm.
like I said, I was so impressed by this thing that we do every night that is so 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 beneficial and so helpful to our lives. I went out there and I started going on the radio just to do it and have fun with it. And I got such a huge reception because everyone dreams, everyone wants to know what it was. And hardly anyone was doing this back then.
Right.
And it just kind of snowballed from there. I started getting invited on more and more radio. And then I started a newspaper column like Dear Abby, but people would write in with their dreams instead of their problems. And I would interpret them. And then people would say, do you have a book? It's like, well, no, I should write a book. And so I self-published my first two books. Then St. Martin's Press came to me and asked me to do a book for them. So I've got 3 books out there, and I've done a lot of TV, Dr. Oz Today Show,
Look at you.
Live with Kelly and Ryan, and I've done tons of it.
And all you did was just follow your dream, literally. No pun intended.
Quite literally, yes.
So, what is actually the true definition of a dream?
The medical definition is something like a series of images and emotions and stories which we experience at night during REM sleep. But what dreaming really is a thinking process. Your dreams are your subconscious thoughts, and they are a continuation of your stream of consciousness from the day. So, you go about your day all day long and you're thinking and talking to yourself. You're loading your dishwasher, you're taking your shower,
Right.
you're driving to work, all these things, and you're talking to yourself the whole time. And as you go to bed and drift off to sleep, you still have that same stream of thought. Continues as you drift off, and then once you enter REM, dream sleep, that stream of thought is still happening, but now instead of thinking in just words and thinking literally, you're now thinking in symbols and emotions, metaphors, pictures, because your brain's working differently during REM sleep than during when you're awake. So it's the same thought process, but in a different language, so to speak.
Right. So, what state do you have to be in to kind of like remember your dreams? Because a lot of times, soon as you wake up, you can't even like you have those dreams like, oh yeah, I can remember this, and then you have some dreams that were really really good, and it's like you can't remember a damn thing as soon as you wake up.
I know that tries to be crazy because as cool and as powerful and helpful as our dreams are, they're really freaking slippery.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
No, it's not.
Here's what you can do to remember them. First of all, keep in mind that you do dream every single night, whether you remember it or not. You are dreaming, and every 90 minutes throughout the night, you have a dream. So on a good night, you can have 5 or more dreams. So the key to remembering them is whenever you wake up, whether it's in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or you're waking up for good in the morning, you want to stay put. Remain in the exact same position you woke up in, because that's the position your body was in when you were dreaming. If you roll over, if you move, it's like unplugging yourself from the dream you were in literally seconds ago.
Wow.
So just stay put, quiet your mind, give yourself like 3 to 5 minutes of quiet still time, and let the dream come back to you. And then whatever you remember, even if it's just a piece, I just remember seeing this dog, or maybe there's a song on your mind. It's on your mind because of your dream. So write it down. And then the more you do this every morning and make it part of your waking up routine, the stronger it'll get, just like working a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. And then you'll start remembering your dreams, all your dreams, every single morning.
Okay. All right. I just want you to know, because I was talking to Lauri the other day and she gave me homework. I failed miserably.
You failed?
I failed. I got really close though. So we were talking about lucid dreaming. Can you just give a brief synopsis what lucid dreaming is before I go into my homework?
Yes. And I'm not going to send you to the principal's office because you did on 2 mornings to try this.
I know, I know.
So lucid dreaming is when you are in a dream and then you suddenly have the awareness that it is a dream while still in the dream. And at that point, you can take control of the dream and direct it any way you like. You can do anything. There are no rules in dreamland. A lot of people become lucid naturally within the midst of a nightmare because whatever's going on in the nightmare is so frightening, it triggers lucidity, and then they use that awareness to wake up and get out of the dream instead of staying in it and taking control of it and changing it and getting answers from it.
It's very interesting. So I did try. I did it, but I went too deep in my sleep. So I started off strong, and I was like, okay, I know this is a dream. And as soon as I was about to ask a question, I woke up. Oh, I was so angry.
Oh, but you did get lucid.
I did get lucid, but I didn't stay there.
That's not a fail. Okay, so I'll give you a C.
Okay. That's average. I didn't fail. Okay, that makes me happy.
Okay, that's a really, really, really good sign, Dawn. I'm really happy to hear that you did become lucid. Big, big deal.
Okay.
So if you keep at it, I'd say a couple more mornings, you're going to stay in that. You got to anchor yourself in there. You'll stay in that dream long enough and hold on to the awareness long enough that you'll be able to direct it. So question, when you had the realization that this is a dream, did you lose the lucidity or did you wake up?
I think I lost the lucidity because I think I actually went deeper into my sleep and then I woke up. And then when I woke up, I was like, damn it.
Let me give you another little tip.
Okay.
Okay, because once you get that lucidity, you can lose it, and then you just go into the dream and you lose the awareness that it's a dream, and then the dream just takes over.
Right.
But you want to be able to anchor yourself in that state of consciousness. So in order to do that, once you have the awareness that you are in the dream, find something and look at it, like your hand.
Okay.
Or a plant, something that's in the dream, and focus on it and say, okay, I am dreaming, I am dreaming, I am dreaming, as you're focusing on it, and that should anchor you enough.
Okay.
That you can continue the dream while lucid.
Okay. I will start trying that. I was so angry. I was like, damn it, I went too far in the dream. I know. But what are some of the benefits of actually being able to lucid dream freely?
Well, first of all, it's just cool as hell.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, sometimes it's better than sex.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can create your own world. Yeah.
You can do anything. Once you're in the lucid state while in a dream, you can take control and you can do it. You can fly. I like to walk through walls. You can make your favorite celebrity appear before you, and you can have sex then.
That is very true.
But I like to walk around and explore the dreamscape and just see what my subconscious mind has created around me. That's what, like touch the walls
Mm-hmm.
or look at the sky. But also, I think the most powerful thing you can do while in the lucid state is to ask a question.
Mm.
If there's a character in your dream, ask that character. Or if you're the only one in the dream, that's fine. You can just ask the dream itself a question. Just any kind of question. Anything like, what's the meaning of life? To
Mm.
what do I need to know right now that's going to help me in my life? And you're going to get an answer.
Interesting. It's interesting. It's funny because last night I was watching a TikTok video and this girl was lucid dreaming and she said she asked her a person in her dreamland a question and every like the people that were part of her dreamland got upset and like was like very angry about her asking the questions and they like kind of forced her to wake up.
Oh, that's interesting.
I literally just saw this last night and I was like, oh, I gotta ask Lauri about this.
Oh, that's okay. So my analysis of that, if I were to talk to her, I would say that she doesn't want to know the answer to the question
Mm,
because everything in that dream is a part of herself.
right.
So all those people that forced her to wake up, those were the parts of her like, nope, don't want to know this. Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, let's get into some examples of dreaming because I know a lot of people like me, I'm a vivid dreamer and I've been having some really crazy dreams, but we'll get into mine later, but we can just do the general stuff. So what does it mean like when you die in your dream?
Okay, so when you die in a dream, it can certainly freak you out. But
Absolutely.
remember, dreams are symbolic. If you look at them literally, you're gonna frighten yourself, and
Yeah.
you're also not gonna get the message. So death to the dreaming mind is about something ending or changing in your life. Death is the
Mm.
end of life, but to the dreaming mind, death is the end of life as you now know it.
Mm.
So if you're the one dying in the dream, there's something about you that's changing. Maybe you've gotten pregnant.
Yeah.
That's big change.
Right.
Maybe you got engaged. You're about to get married, and so that's the end of your old self, your old identity. So your new identity can emerge. What kind of change is going on with you, or what within you have you put in? And maybe you stopped smoking. That's
Mm.
the end, the change, the death, that part of you.
I used to dream
So
that I
death.
died.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was saying I used to dream that I died by water all the time. Like I used to dream, like probably as a teenager, all the time that I would die by either Michael Myers would kill me. I really do love Michael Myers. I don't know what that's about because I'm like we're friends. I love all your movies, or I'll die by drowning. Like from like a bridge would collapse and I would die by drowning. I had that dream several times
As a teenager.
as a teenager. Yep,
Okay, and was it there always a bridge involved?
it was always a bridge involved.
Um, so you're on the bridge and it collapses.
Yep, like I'm in a car and like
Okay.
the bridge collapses. Yeah, I get out the car and I end up drowning.
Okay. So the bridge is a very interesting dream symbol, and a lot of people get this sort of bridge dream where they're crossing it, and then either the car falls off the bridge or the bridge
Yeah.
collapses like in yours, and that causes phobias. Are you are you afraid to drive across bridges now?
Nope. I,
Okay, good for you.
I love heights. Like I'm not afraid. It just kind of always it tickles me when I like go past it. I'm like, oh, I could die right now, according to my dreams.
Right. Okay, so the bridge dream is will happen whenever you're going through some kind of transition in your real life. The bridge represents your ability to make it through whatever this transition is. The bridge takes you from point A to point B
Mm-hmm.
in real life. You cross over something and get to the other side of it. So the bridge in your dream will represent that transition you're going through. And the reason why you would sometimes dream the bridge collapses is because whatever the transition was you were going through, you may have felt like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. This is hard. And the
Interesting.
collapse would likely represent the weakness, the breakdown of your confidence in getting through it.
Mm. That's powerful. Yeah, that's how I
But
just.
you don't have those anymore, so you must be a lot more confident now
Yes,
than you
yes,
were
yes,
then.
yes. Oh yeah, I was a terrorist when I was a teenager, so yeah, I can only imagine. But no, I don't have those dreams anymore. I used to have
Okay,
really bad
good.
nightmares as a child as well, but I used to punish my own self because I was obsessed with like horror shows, like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Tales of the Crypt, Goosebumps, like all these crazy things. And then I would stay up in the middle of the night, sneak out of my bedroom to watch TV, and then I would be petrified by the time I went to bed. But to my own defense, my house was also haunted as a kid, and I didn't know that.
Oh.
My mother, when I lived in Philly, told me when I was about 18 years old, and just casually, as if I already knew this, because I used to like hear voices. I would have terrible, I'm talking about frightening nightmares. I used to have the same reoccurring nightmare. I would be walking through my neighborhood. It was completely dark, and I would feel like these ghosts or spirits, but I could never see them. My eyes are always closed, but I could like feel them. I could hear them laughing. I can hear them whispering, but I could never see them. I was always blind. I was like walking down the street blindly. And yeah, and it used to always freak me out. But then she told me that someone committed suicide in our house prior to her buying it.
Mm.
So I was like, all this goddamn time you knew, and you didn't put two and two together when I was telling you I was having nightmares and hearing footsteps and hearing voices and peeing on myself because I was like petrified. And she was like, oh yeah, I just thought, you were watching too many scary movies.
Did she get a good deal on the house?
She did. She did. I think it was like
Okay.
$20,000 less. But was it worth my sanity? Absolutely not. I don't think so, but
You cut out there for a second. I didn't hear that last thing you said.
no, no, no. I was just saying my sanity wasn't worth it
Oh,
for
I
for
see.
for
Yeah,
her
yeah,
cheaper
apparently
discount.
not.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was a rough couple years. And she would like pray over me every night because I would like wake up in the middle of the night screaming. That went on for about like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But my house was haunted, so I don't know. I think so.
Huh. Well, I mean, that's possible that, the nightmares were caused by that energy that was still there.
Yeah.
Um, but it is also common for children and preteens to have nightmares because your body's changing and social situations are really difficult and all kinds of things that are hard as we grow. We process it and it can result in nightmares when it's particularly difficult.
So, a question: when you have a nightmare, and I think it's called like the witch riding your back or something like that. What is that actually? What's actually happening?
Oh, okay. I think you're referring to the Old Hag Syndrome.
Yeah, like where you can't move, or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's not really a nightmare. What that is actually called sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Back in medieval times, they called it the Old Hag Syndrome, and I'll explain why. So when the waking up process and the falling asleep process is actually very complicated. There's a lot of things going on in your brain and in your body in order for you to fall asleep and in order for you to wake up. Different, for example, once we fall asleep and enter REM dream sleep, the brain releases a chemical through the brain stem and into our body to paralyze our skeletal muscles so that we do not act out the dream. It's a safety mechanism we naturally do every time we enter REM dream sleep.
Mm.
Now, when we're having a fitful night of sleep, we're not getting good sleep, when our sleep routine is messed up, we can get stuck in the in between state of sleep as the brain is trying to wake up, but the body hasn't caught up.
Mm.
So your mind is kind of awake, but your body's still paralyzed. And so for a brief moment, you are literally paralyzed, but you're also awake, but still you're asleep. you're in this in between state called hypnagogia.
Okay.
So you have the awareness of being awake, but you have enough REM dream sleep still going on that you're having hallucinations, kind of dreaming while awake and paralyzed. So
Wow.
it's a scary experience.
It is.
Also, in this state, the amygdala, which is the very center of the brain and
Mm-hmm.
is the fear center of the brain, is highly active. So it's a scary state to be in. And
Hmm.
then you've got that hallucination going on where you feel a presence in the room.
Mm-hmm.
A witch, which is where the Old Hag Syndrome comes from. Back in medieval times, they thought a witch was getting you. Um, some people perceive it as a ghost. Some people perceive it as a demon. Some
Yeah.
people perceive it as an alien, and
Oh,
they think they're
wow.
being abducted. Because sometimes you can feel yourself, it feels like you're leaving your body sometimes. There's these weird physical sensations that go along with it too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you'll feel pressure on your chest, your body might vibrate,
Yeah.
and you might hear your name being whispered,
Yep.
or you might hear the doorbell. You
Yep.
know, weird audio and visual hallucinations happen too. But this never lasts more than like a minute. And
Really?
then, bam, like that, you snap out of it and you're perfectly fine and you can move. So it's completely harmless. It's just a little scary.
It's very scary. Oh, okay. Well, at least I know some hallucinations involved because I definitely have experienced that, and I definitely felt like something was coming to get me because I couldn't
Yeah,
move. Yeah, I
yeah. But you
recently
know
experienced
what?
that.
You can turn that into a lucid dream
Really?
easily. Yeah. If you experience it again, and now that you know what it is, will yourself to float out of your bed and float around the room.
Okay.
You'll get that sensation, you know, that you're not actually doing it, but you're still kind of in the dream state, so you can turn it into a flying lucid dream. Or you can, you know, ask a question and see what sort of answer you get.
I'm scared. I'm scared to ask what. I'm scared of what the hell the answer might be. It might be
Well,
something
okay,
I
let me
don't
tell you
want.
something funny. So I used to do this morning show in Modesto, California once a week, and the morning show host would get sleep paralysis a lot because you know he'd have to get up at 3 in the morning and
Mm-hmm.
get ready to do the morning show, so his sleep was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, he would experience a lot of sleep paralysis, and his dark, sinister presence in his experiences, he perceived them as, you know, the Sandmen in Star
Oh.
Wars.
Oh God.
So
Oh
I told him, okay, you know, I explained what's going on. Don't be afraid of it. And I said, but ask a question of the Sandmen and see what kind of answer you get. So the next time he experienced it, he asked them, who are you? And the answer he got was, we are your sins.
no. Holy shit.
I know.
I don't know if that made it better for him. Did it make it better for him when it
Yes and no.
Yeah, I'll be totally
He
freaked
realized
out.
there's probably some shit I gotta
You
make
got to
right.
work through. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's deep. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm scared to ask now for sure cuz I can only imagine what that cuz I just experienced this. This was about 3 weeks ago. I was in that in between state like where I could lucid dream. I remember like petting my cat and he like jumped off the bed because he was done with me, and I was kind of this was like 3 o'clock in the morning, so like around witching hour, and
Uh-huh.
I was dozing off, and I just remember like hearing like a whisper, and I was like, oh shit, and I tried to like scream cuz like it kept saying like crazy stuff in my head. Like I can't remember what it was, but it was like very like dark, like very sinister. And I remember like
Uh-huh.
trying to scream my friend's name cuz he was at my house, and I just remember trying to like scream, and I could not get any sound out, and I knew that I
Yeah.
couldn't scream. I knew that I sounded too low. And so in my head I try to like scream. I'm like, okay, if I can't physically do it, I'm going to mentally do it. And I couldn't do
Uh-huh.
that either. So I screamed my great grandmother's name, and then it stopped and I woke up.
Yeah. Just like that, it stops.
It just
It's
like that it stopped.
crazy.
My great grandmother's no longer here, so I'm like, I don't know if that was her like trying to protect me.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
was freaked out. I was like, oh hell to the no. I did not go
Yeah.
back to sleep.
It's frustrating because, you know, You are literally paralyzed and you cannot move your jaw to open your mouth to get. You know, if someone was in the room with you, you probably were making noise, like muffled
Yeah.
screams,
Yeah.
but you can't get it out because you can't move your jaw.
Yeah.
And it is scary. But once you know what it is, it's usually not scary anymore
Yeah.
because it's not at all harmful. It's just a weird in between state, and it doesn't last long. And it's actually can be a really cool state of consciousness that you can
Yeah.
take advantage of.
Yeah, I'll try to do better with now that I know I can be more in
Yeah.
control or in control completely. That makes me feel so much better because I was like, oh my God, the demons are going to snatch me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're trying to send me back, send me to hell or something. I didn't know what was going on. So, because I have a thousand questions for you because people have so many questions about dreams. So, what about when you visualize like animals? So, like for example, like snakes, lions, bears. What significance does that hold in a dream?
Okay, animals are really interesting symbols in our dreams. Actually, my latest book is called Dream on It,
Mm-hmm.
Unlock Your Dreams, Change Your Life, like sleep on it, dream on it. And I have a whole chapter in there about the animals in our dreams.
Mm.
Animals tend to represent our behaviors or the
Mm.
behavior of someone around us that's close to us, like the behavior of our partner or a parent, you know, or a coworker.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to figure out the animal in your dream is to ask yourself, what is the nature of this animal? What is it known for? For example, dogs are really common to dream about, whether
Right.
it's your actual dog you have or a dog you used to have or just some dream dog.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are really common in our dreams because they tend to represent the behavior of friendship and loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are man's best friend. This is what we attribute to the nature of a dog.
Right.
So when the dog in your dream, for example, is maybe been hit by a car, is sick or is dying, ask yourself, you know, do I have a relationship that's in trouble? Or have I not been loyal in
Right.
some way?
Right.
And cats are the second most dreamt of animal.
Okay.
And cats, of course, it is, of course, personal to you and your own perceptions of cats, but typically, a cat, especially for a woman, will represent her sexual behavior.
Mm.
Because, you know, sex kittens,
Right.
and, you know, the derogatory term for our lady parts is also another name for cats, you know.
Yeah.
And cats are just sexy. They sleek, and you know,
Yes,
we
they
wear a cat
are.
suit to be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
So cats for a woman will tend to represent her sexual or reproductive behavior. So if a cat, for example, is attacking you in a dream, okay, look at what's going on in the intimacy department. You know, are you mad at yourself? And then because maybe you're in a dry spell, or maybe you've been promiscuous, or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
That's
the way the
interesting.
animal behaves in the dream will tell you a lot about your own behavior in real life.
Interesting. Huh, now I gotta reevaluate some things. I've been dreaming a lot about lions. What do they mean?
Okay.
I
All right. So tell me.
um I'm trying to remember. I just remember like I don't remember seeing it, but I remember like just hearing the roaring in my dream. Like I remember like being in my dream and hearing a lion roar, and I'm like, well, what the fuck was that? But I never seen the lion. I just heard it. I heard it roar, and that was it. But this is
How recent was this?
this was about a month. Like this last month has been crazy with my dreams. Like so, probably like a month ago.
Okay. So why do lions roar? Why would a lion roar?
I thought it was like territorial issue, like reasons, like to know that they're there,
Okay.
like king of the jungle type of thing.
Okay. So let's apply that to you. Do you feel someone has been maybe approaching your territory in some way, stepping on your foot, getting all up in your business, or something like that?
I do. Oh shit.
Have you spoken up about it? Have you roared?
Yeah, I just recently roared. I definitely just did.
Good. Okay. So the dream was getting your attention about it and saying you need to roar.
I need to roar.
Your inner lioness needs to step up to the plate here.
Interesting. Oh shit. So okay, all right. I need to roar more. Keep roaring.
I am woman. Hear me roar.
I am woman. Hear me roar. Oh, that's so interesting. See, that's so crazy. You just never even think about it. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like a lion. I'm like, maybe it means like I'm just being confident. That's literally what I took it as, and just kind of like left it at that. But I never thought about it territory wise.
But dreams are addressing specifics. And every little detail in your dream. Nothing in a dream is random or nonsense. Everything down to the color of blouse you're wearing.
Wow.
Everything in the dream is connected to something in your real life and is a piece of the puzzle of the big message your dream is giving you. There's nothing random, ever. And so the details are giving you specifics. The details in the dream are connected to the specifics going on in your real life.
Interesting. And what about like fantasies? Like, you know how you'll have sex with like Brad Pitt or like some beautiful woman, or you know, maybe you're in a relationship and you're like cheating with someone else that you probably found hot at work. What does that mean? Does it mean like you're just going through a drought?
Okay, so sex dreams are also, and I have a whole chapter in my book Dream on it about sex dreams.
Okay.
Sex dreams, they're not necessarily about a physical union you want, but a psychological union you need. Now, if you're having a sex dream about, you use Brad Pitt as an example.
Right.
Sometimes you're just, when it's someone you would sleep with or someone you find very desirable and you have that sort of dream, it can just be the way your body is releasing that energy. You may find you get these sort of fantasy type sex dreams around ovulation time. So keep track of your dreams along with your cycle, because a lot of interesting dreams correlate with where you are in your cycle. But if you're having a sex dream about someone you wouldn't normally, think of in that way, like a coworker or even a brother, we can dreams like that can really freak us out. But remember, it's symbolic. So it's not about a physical union you want, but more about a psychological union you need. So there's something about that person, something about the personality, or something about their life, or about the way they conduct themselves, or the way they speak. There's something about them your subconscious wants to unite into your own behavior, into your own life, into your own being. Because sex is the ultimate union. Two individual bodies join together, connect, unite together to become one.
Right.
So the subconscious mind will use the act of sex to let us know there's a certain union, a connection we need to make. Sometimes you'll have a sex dream about maybe your best friend.
Right.
And you certainly don't, look at them that way. But you may have had that dream because you connected on some deep level the day before.
Interesting. Oh, that makes more sense. Because like I know sometimes like one of my friends had like an incestuous dream, and she like freaked out and thought that she was just like a perverted person. So I'm glad like that makes more sense, because she was like, oh my God, am I like, do I like my cousin? Am I sexually attracted to my cousin now because I had this dream that I had sex with him?
Yeah. See, don't look at your dream literally. You're going to mess yourself up.
Yeah. You definitely will. You definitely will. What about like synchronicities? Like when you see a lot of like numbers, like all in sequence in your dreams?
Well, it's probably more about the number than it. Well, okay. So like, give me an example.
So for example, like if I am in a dream, let's say like I'm working on something and I keep seeing like 444 or 888 or 111 in the like, in the dream. Like I keep seeing like just numbers being repeated in the dream.
Okay. So the first thing you want to do when you get numbers in a dream is see if it correlates to those same numbers or amount of something in your real life. Is your rent, you say you see 444 is your rent $444 perhaps, or maybe you spent that much on a plane ticket. You
Mm.
know, see if you can make, because the number or amount of something in a dream will always be connected to that same number amount of something in real life. I mean, 444 could be, in someone's address,
Mm.
and that person is relevant to you right now. Or if you keep getting repeated number sequences, it can be connected to a recurring behavior pattern of your own.
Mm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Because sometimes people get numbers in their dream and they'll like wake up and like, oh, I should play this number for the lottery.
Yeah, and you know what? I say go for it. You
Yeah,
never know.
right. Nothing to
Why
lose.
not? But then also try to connect it to numbers in your real life, dates. Uh, 444, for example, could be April 1944. Maybe that's when your grandmother was born. Something like that.
Mm.
You got to put on your thinking cap, but if you'll be able to figure it out if you just go through all the numbers in your
Yeah.
life. There's going to be a connection.
What about like love dreams? Because I'm a single woman and I keep having these dreams where like maybe because I want to get married, but it's like I'm with some man. And that's the thing. And I don't know how true this is, but they say that the people that you see in your dreams that you don't know, you've seen them somewhere in your life. Is that true?
Right.
Like we can't
Yeah,
dream
I've
up
heard that
strangers.
quite a bit. There is just, until we're able to completely DVR our entire lives and our dreams as well. There's just no way to know that.
Right. That's very true.
There's just no way to know that. But the subconscious mind is unbelievably creative. I mean,
Mm.
look at the buildings that you're in sometimes in dreams, or the
Yeah.
landscape. I mean, or the creatures you dream up. The stuff you've never seen before.
Mm.
The subconscious mind is such a deep gold mine of creativity and ideas, and there's so many things in our life that we have because people paid attention to their dream. Like, how many times have you Googled something today?
Probably 10 times
Prob-
already.
yeah, okay. So we have the search engine Google because Larry Page dreamed it.
Right.
You
Right.
woke up from a dream where you were able to get any information you wanted on your computer in these sentences.
Mm.
And so when he woke up from that dream, he ran down to the coffee shop, started taking notes, and he called his business partner and said, look, do you think this is something we could actually do? And they began working on it from there. And now we have Google.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I think we as people need to start like taking our dreams more seriously. I think we're just so used to just like, oh, okay, whatever. That was Tuesday night's dream. Keep it moving. We might have a little nightmare here and there, but it's like, all right, whatever. Like, okay.
We dismiss it.
We dismiss it.
Because we don't understand it. Therefore, it's meaningless. You cannot be more wrong. A dream has more meaning than you can even imagine. Our dreams are the most powerful part of who we are. The dreams are the way we are very brutally honest with ourselves about our lives, about our behavior, about our relationships, about our issues. Our dreams are where we figure it out. That's why when we have something we need to figure out, or we're facing a dilemma or a tough choice, we say, I need to sleep on this.
Yeah.
Because we tend to wake up with a clear head because we dreamed on it.
Now, what about people who are going through a breakup? Because, like, that's like the most devastating time in someone's life where they have to break up and they're like really sad and they're like really depressed. And so they're having, dreams about being with that person, or they're having nightmares about being all alone. Like, what advice could you give to those people who are like struggling when they're in that type of mental space?
The subconscious is trying to help you get through it. Whenever we go through something difficult, when we're going through grief, whether it's grief over a death or grief over the end of a relationship, the subconscious is trying to help us get through it. One thing we do a lot when we've had a breakup is we try, especially if we were the one that were dumped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we did the breaking up, we know why and we're done and we're ready to move on.
Right.
But if we were the one that was dumped, that, you know, the subconscious will try to help us figure out why,
Mm-hmm.
and will also try to help us move on. So in the first stages after you've been dumped, you may find yourself, I have found fascinating what a common theme this is. You may find yourself breaking into your ex's home and going to their stuff. Have you had that dream before?
I don't know about breaking into their house, but I remember like beating their ass. I definitely had that dream where I definitely punched them or like broke a bone with a baseball bat. I definitely had those.
Okay, so and those are actually healthy because you are expressing anger safely in your head without harm to anyone. You know, dreams will serve as a pressure gauge and
Right.
will release pent up anger, frustration. But the one where you're in their home, or maybe you don't break into the home, but you're in their home and you're looking around,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're trying to find them. That represents you trying to get into their mindset and figure them out. Because the home represents, you know, your home is an extension of your personality, and it's where you live, and it's where you are your true self. So the home to the dreaming mind will represent that person's mind and personality. So you're in their home in your dream because you're trying to get in there and figure them out. Why did they break up with me?
Mm-hmm.
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
And then if you dream, the anger dreams you have are usually caused by anger with yourself. Oh, I fucked up. Why I shouldn't have said that. That's what did it. Darn it. You know.
Right.
The way we are.
Oh, that's so interesting. And what's the opposite of that? Well, not opposite, but like even like when you're dealing with death, you know, even when you had that dream about your grandfather, like did that bring you peace, or did it, you know? Okay.
It changed my life in so many ways because, well, number one, it put me on a career path that I had no idea it was something that could be a career, you know.
Right.
And number two, I was raised, you know, Christian, and we'd go to church on Sundays, and my grandma and my papa were particularly religious, and when I'd spend the night, they'd make me read the Bible to them before I went to bed. You know, so I, was raised to believe in life after death and heaven and all of that, and I did believe it until he died. He was my first death experience, and it was open casket, and so then you see a corpse rather than your grandfather,
right?
And that put me in a big depression. I don't like open casket funerals. I think they're
it's weird.
Me personally, I want to remember them alive. I don't want to remember them as a dead body.
I understand.
So that, I went into very deep depression after that because I was like, wow, that's it.
Yeah.
When you're dead, you're dead. So I lost my faith. And then 2 weeks later, I had that dream, and it brought my faith back because he was still there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that if someone, dealing with death is always going to be really hard, but when you dream of them, is that your subconscious, just trying to like help you go through the motions of it all?
The dreams we have while we're deep in grief, when it's, pretty soon after the loss, and you dream of them, I do believe, they can that the spirit can contact us while we're in the dream state. That is not to say that every time you dream of someone that has passed on is their spirit. Sometimes you're dreaming of them because they represent a part of yourself. Or if you're deep in grief, you might dream of them as a corpse. And that's just you trying to reach the acceptance phase of grief. But the contact dreams, here's some telltale signs. First of all, it just feels different than other dreams. It feels different. It's a very, very real and very, very vibrant experience, even more vibrant than life itself.
Okay.
They look fantastic. They're radiating. They're like at their peak, and they're glowing. It's just this beaming, beautiful energy. And they tend to have a message along the lines of, I'm still here, and everything is okay.
Gotcha.
And then you wake up, and it lingers. and you can still kind of feel them. Or in my case, I smelled him,
Mm-hmm.
and you just know.
Interesting. And hopefully it brings peace.
It peace, yeah. It lets you know, this consciousness continues
Yeah, I don't
after bodily death.
dream about my grandfather and my great grandmothers, but I always dream about their house. Like I always dream about like being at their house, not like a past memory, but it would be like a dream. Sometimes it's actually been nightmares, like at their houses. But it's always like I'm always in their house, um, or I'm like on the phone talking to them, or I'm remembering them like with other family members. But I'm always at their house, which is
Mm.
I always think is really strange.
I get that too. I'm at my grandparents on both sides. All my grandparents have passed,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll dream, my maternal grandmother's house a lot. I mostly dream about my father's, my paternal grandmother's house. Like just night before last, I was in her kitchen. Um, so the, there's a few reasons why that is. The most common reason why you may dream of being in your grandparents' house is because, remember, their house is their personality.
Mm,
And there are aspects of your personality that are like them.
gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, it's making me miss my pop pop because that's who I was really, really close to him. And I always, when I think about, when I dream about him, is not him specifically. Very rarely does he actually pop up, but I always dream about his house and being in it and
Hmm.
engaging in it in some way.
What would you say, in what way are you the most like him?
Um, in every way. He was
Every way.
he was brutally honest. He loved his family really hard, the same way I do. He was very sarcastic. He was such an asshole at times, and so am I. And he was, I don't know, he had a very dry, cynical sense of humor like me. So he pretty much taught me a lot of things that I know now, like how to conduct yourself, like what respect means, what loyalty means. He was really big on like having respect for your last name and like dying with honor. He was a Vietnam vet and he was a police officer. So my last name, he would be really, really like he would be very adamant about like you're a Tompus, that holds value. Even though I'm a woman and unfortunately my dad didn't have any sons, but he will always tell me like, hey, you're a Tompus, that means something, that holds value. So that means you need to respect yourself, you need to respect others, you need to be loyal, you need to be loving, you need to make sure that you are always showing up and being there for your family. And that's kind of who I am at this point.
Okay, so next time you get a dream where you're in his house, ask yourself, what's going on in my life right now where I need this wisdom he instilled in
Mm.
me? Or is there something going on right now where I'm really being like him? Where
Huh.
he's coming through me,
Yeah.
my behavior. And you'll see likely there is something going on where you've been like, what do you call him? Pop Pop?
Yeah, I call him Pop Pop.
Okay, where I'm being like Pop Pop.
Okay.
I called mine Papa.
Papa. I love all the names that like people have for their
Yeah.
grandparents. It's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cute.
I would definitely do that. My last question for you is, what would you tell people? How can we hold ourselves more accountable to our dreams and being able to communicate with our subconscious a little bit better instead of being so um, dismissive, when we dream?
Right. So no, just never ever dismiss it as a dream, even if it's upsetting and disturbing. Say, "Oh, it's just a dream. I'm not going to worry about it." No, 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 no. If it's upsetting and disturbing because your subconscious is upset with you, so there's something going on. Your subconscious is trying to help you with. Don't ever dismiss it as a dream because everything you dismiss as just a dream was a really important and powerful message from you to you about you.
Mm.
So dismissing a dream is like not answering the phone or not opening an email or not
Mm.
opening a text, that you need to know. So what you can do to start benefiting from your dreams and also to start remembering them and utilizing them more is start keeping a dream journal in tandem with a day journal.
Okay.
And what I recommend is get a spiral bound journal. A lot of people like to keep their dreams in their phones or tablets or whatever. Okay, that's fine, but there's just something better about physically writing it and keeping it in a spiral bound journal, because the way you're going to do this is on the left page before you go to sleep at night. That's going to be the left side of your journal, is always going to be your day.
Okay.
So before you go to sleep, you're going to write down your day. What happened, what you struggled with, what you accomplished, what was on your mind, what you talked about, what you felt the most during the day.
Okay.
Then you're going to go to sleep and you're going to have your dreams. And then when you wake up, you're going to write your dream or dreams on the right side.
Okay.
And then you have your day and your dreams side by side, so you can more easily connect the dots between the two. Because whatever you dream tonight is directly caused by what happened today. They're always connected.
Interesting.
So that's another way to try to figure out your dreams. Always look at the day before.
Okay.
And see if you can correlate what happened in your dream to what happened the day before, what you felt like the day before, what was on your mind the day before, what you saw on TV the day before. You know, there's always going to be a connection, because your dreams are a continuation of your day. Or I should say a continuation of your thoughts from the day.
Interesting. Okay, now I gotta go to Target and get me a journal. I already have one that I use just for the day.
Spiral bound. It's also easier to write in.
Okay, I will make sure to, and I just have like a new nightstand, so I'm gonna make sure I have it and keep writing, because I think, you know, we're constantly trying to communicate with ourselves, but I think we're so disconnected to like our higher selves that we kind of miss a lot of the messages that, you know, we're literally trying to tell our own selves. But yeah, that is a great idea. I want to thank you so much for joining the show. Let people know how they can contact you. So if they want to get like personal, you know, dream analysis, like how can they do that?
Okay, it's really easy. My website is laurilowenberg.com, but Laurie Lowenberg's kind of hard to spell. So instead of trying to figure out how to spell laurilowenberg.com, just Google Dream Expert, and I'm like the first one that comes up. They'll take you to my site, and that's where you can set up a phone call with me where we can go over your dream, and we can go very in depth, and I will help you completely understand it, what's causing it, the message in it, and the advice you're giving yourself through the dream.
Absolutely. And your books, are they on your website as well?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Can you say that again?
I said your books, are they also on your website as well?
Yeah, you can get my book Dream on It there. It's also on Amazon and in bookstores everywhere. Oh, and you can also, I have a really fun Instagram page, which is WTF _ did I just dream? What the fuck did I just dream?
I love it. Oh, that's how I feel almost every night.
Really funny dreams. So I sum them up in one sentence and I post them with a funny picture that goes with it, and then I explain what the dream means.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, we're definitely about to be BFFs, because I literally wake up like, what the fuck did I just dream? Yeah, I just dreamt of like this beautiful TikTok man with like this 8-pack last night, and I literally woke up and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. I don't know who this man is.
Was there any interaction in the dream?
Yeah, like he was like trying to convince me of being in a relationship with him, and I didn't believe him. But he was just like sexy, and I just remember having his shirt off, and I was just like, okay. I was like, yeah, I don't believe you. Like, I want to be with you, but I don't really believe you. And that was kind of like it.
Okay, so this is not anyone that actually exists?
He has like I saw him on TikTok, but I don't know him like personally. Like I just seen him like on social media. That's it.
Okay. So do you know anything about him? What about that TikTok that you saw stood out to you? What was it about? What was he doing?
He was working out, and he's absolutely gorgeous. Like from his face, his complexion, his body, even his hair, because he has like nice long curly hair. Yeah, like when I see him, I'm like, damn it, like God took his time on you. Like he's everything. And then I kind of just dismiss it and just keep it moving. But I had a dream about that last night, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay, and he was trying to get into a relationship with you, and you didn't believe him?
Yeah, he was trying to convince me that like, hey, like I like you, I want to be with you. Um, we should, take things to the next level. And I was like, in theory, that sounds good, but I don't know. Like, no, I don't trust
Okay.
it.
So, what do you work out? Are you thinking about working out?
Yeah, I've been
What's
working
going on
out.
there?
Yeah, I've been working out since November. I'm down 45 pounds.
Oh, a muscle top. Good for you.
Thank you.
Is there something about that that you aren't believing? Like, no way.
I think I
Or
think being
is there a
single.
goal you don't think you're gonna be able to reach?
I think I
Anything
won't be
like
able to
that?
find my person, to be honest. Like I don't think I'll find like my soulmate. I think that's what that means. Like not being able to like cuz I was in a really long relationship and um I've been single but like I haven't been dating. And so now that I've been like testing the waters of dating, it's been petrifying for me and also very irritating cuz these men, oh my god, Lord. Thank God you're married, please. Like it's ghetto here. I'm telling you. um,
Oh
but yeah,
gosh,
I
I
just
have been married for like 26
yeah,
years, so I
keep it that way. It's
never.
nothing out here. Trust me. And so yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. Like I've been coming across people, and they talk a lot of good shit, and then when it comes to like being the real deal, they have been nothing but disappointments. And so I think that's kind of like me just having like my own trust issues and being able to find like my soulmate or
The
my
perfect
person.
man just
Yeah,
you're not gonna believe exists.
exactly. Which is horrible
Hmm.
because I don't want to think like that.
Well, maybe you could go into polygamy, and then you could get the best of each man.
That's true. But men are so possessive. I don't know how they would feel about me having multiple men. But anyone who's listening to this, you want to be, a couple of boyfriends you don't mind sharing, I'm down. I'm not,
Yeah,
yeah.
why not? You're young. Go ahead.
So we shall see. I'll definitely keep you posted on that. Like, men being in polygamy is like, oh, he's the greatest. Women doing polygamy, like, oh no, she's a whore. Where's the scarlet letter
I
type foolishness?
know it's not fair.
I know. It's the sexism for me that I can't. It really pisses me off, but we shall see. But once again, thank you so much for being a part of the show and giving us your insight. I'm definitely going to take heed on my homework with lucid dreaming and creating my dream journal. For my listeners, I encourage you to do the same because I just think that we are constantly in flow with ourselves and like we become disconnected when we're not listening to the one space where we're allowed to roam free within ourselves. Like it's limitless in our mind, especially when we're dreaming. So,
Well said. Well said.
well, thank you for joining the show, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed myself and sweet dreams.
Make sure you get her book and make sure you follow her socials and book a session. I'm pretty sure she will definitely help you out if you have any questions. All right, so for our Ask to Read for this week, Candace is dating this guy exclusively. And he told her that sex with her is boring. Oh, that's not good. And she wants to know how she could spice it up. First of all, Candace, the fact that this man told you that you were boring, I don't know why you didn't ask the question in asking how and what you can do to make it better. I think having the sex talk is like so important, and I know it's embarrassing and uncomfortable, but you're not going to have great sex if you're not going to be able to communicate your wants and your needs. So the first question is, what about the sex makes it boring? And are you in yourself enjoying the sex? Like, is he doing everything to kind of satisfy you? And if so, that's great. Tell him to keep up the good work. If not, then tell him areas that he can improve on too. But sex is definitely a conversation. I don't know why we believe that when you have sex with someone, you automatically have to get it right the first time. Like, everyone's body is different. Everybody has different experiences. Like, some people really need that deep mental connection. Some people can be strictly physical. Everyone's G spot is not in the same place. Like, it's so like sex is just very like it can be very customizable. I don't believe in generalized sex. So I think you need to talk to your person and really have like the down and dirty conversation. It's going to make things very uncomfortable. But if everyone is happy, that means everyone's having an orgasm, having a good time. But you need to be 1,000% honest, and don't take things personally because maybe you're not able to, you weren't doing certain things at first. And so what is the compromise in that sexual relationship? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What does sex look like for you, and him? So yeah, just have that conversation, because not everybody wants to do the same thing. Don't ask your friends, ask him, ask the source, and tell the truth, like, on both parties. You can even turn it into like a fun little game. It doesn't have to be like this hardcore conversation. You can kind of, spruce it up, make it fun, and create it however you want to. Like, sex is made for however you want it to be. It does not have to be one specific thing, and it doesn't have to fit whatever mold, um whatever social construct you want it to be a part of. Like, fuck that. Like, create the sex that you want to have with whomever you want it to be with, and as long as it's consensual and you having a good time, I don't see what the problem is. So, Candace, I hope you can definitely spice up your love life, because everybody deserves a good orgasm. So, for our words of wisdom this week, it is: blame is just a lazy person's way of making sense of chaos, and that is by Douglas Copeland. Blame is a very interesting thing, because when you don't accept accountability, it allows you to run away from the truth. It allows you to not put anything on yourself. And I know people hate being the villain, but sometimes you are the villain in the story. Sometimes you do fuck up. And sometimes you definitely need to hold yourself accountable for the actions that you have done. So you don't have to live in a chaotic space. But when you live in chaos, that means you don't live in truth. And so you have to decide, like, what type of life you want to live, because when you blame everything on self, that means you have no self perspective, and you're not being able to have any self realization about yourself. And I'm pretty sure you're probably a narcissist, and I'm pretty sure you do a lot of gaslighting if you are consistently blaming things on other people and not blaming yourself, or talking to yourself in a way where it's like, oh, you know what, I fucked up and this is wrong. Let me apologize. Let me make amends for the things that I did wrong. Opposed to like, oh, well, because I was 7 years old, I was never taught to be able to apologize, or I was never able to do this. Like, no. If you know better, do better. So I want to thank you, Lauri, for joining the show, and I want to thank everybody, and see you next week.